Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're all keeping well. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new to the channel, welcome, subscribe, and enjoy the entertainment. Anyway, it is officially WrestleMania week, so as always, I'm gonna give my preview and predictions of the night one, night two. Looking forward to. Always love this time of year, WrestleMania. If you're a pro wrestling fan, you obviously love watching WrestleMania. And anyway, so let me run down these matches and give my predictions. We'll say uh, the build up this year hasn't been as great as it could have been compared to last year's. Like, you think of last year when I did these predictions with the whole bloodline and Cody Rhodes and The Rock and everything, and the build up was Seth and Drew McIntyre and all those angles, and the ladder match for the undisputed tag titles that were separated. I think the build was a lot better. The women's matches this year have been a bit chaotic in terms of, especially with Charlotte and Tiffany. The build up for their matches have been sort of a bit off the rails. But anyway, let me get into these matches and we'll talk about it. And I think so. Starting off, hit us here in order. Right, so night one, we've got the War Raiders, Eric and Ivar versus the New Day, Kofi and Xavier. Now, I've seen some backlash, not the, not the event coming up, but some backlash online because this match is on the WrestleMania card, and currently, as things stand, the Smackdown tag titles aren't. I will say it is a bit, out of the blue, just to throw this match on the WrestleMania card, uh, when there's been so much more build up and storyline with the SmackDown titles. But I think because the tag titles in SmackDown have been defended so much over the past few months, that's probably why they don't want to put them on the WrestleMania card. I mean, yes, you could have done like a ladder match, but it is a bit similar to last year. So yeah, because the tag titles have been defended and have been switched, the DIY, Pretty Deadly, uh, Motor City Machine Guns, and then they're on the Street Profits now. It's probably just trying to give the Raw titles a bit more spotlight because they haven't. Now, I have a theory about possibly why this might be on the WrestleMania card. Uh, might happen, might not happen, but because Kofi and Xavier have, ever since they turned heel, they have been taking jibes at Big E, and then even this past week, I think it was, Kofi uploaded like a photo of him winning the WWE title, uh, with him on Xavier and Big E's shoulders, but he erased Big E from the photo. So I'm wondering if they're setting it up for Big E to show up at Mania, to get involved in the match. But I'm wondering what way, if that happened, what way would it do? Would Big E show up to cost them the tag titles against the War Raiders, or would it be a complete twist and he helps them win the titles and basically rejoins New Day, turning heel as well? So, prediction for the match. It's tough depending on if Big E doesn't get involved. It's tough to decide. I'm gonna go with the New Day win the tag titles, just because uh, I feel it'll be strange to build it up as them as this new heel team, and have them challenge for the tag titles just to lose at WrestleMania if you're going to put the match on the card. So I'm going to go with New Day for that match, and I'm predicting that Big E gets involved one way or the other. All right, so next up we have got the most historic match in the history of WrestleMania. This could be a big one. Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. We are in the greatness. We get to see the WrestleMania debut of El Grande Americano. I've liked the build up of this. Obviously, this one has gone back to, obviously, Chad Gable. No connection to either wrestler. He was battling, the luchadors like Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee and everything, and then he went off on this quest, and now we have this new wrestler in the company, El Grande Americano, who is obviously gotten on the bad side of Rey Mysterio, so this match has been set up. It is a shame. It's a shame that we don't get to see Chad Gable compete at WrestleMania. I think he deserves a match on the card. But look, Rey Mysterio wanted to challenge El Grande Americano, so look, you gotta let the new guys have a match. So, I am going to predict for this one. I'm going to go with El Grande. I mean, I just don't see him losing on his WrestleMania debut after he's had a good positive run since he arrived in the company. So, yeah, I'm going to go with El Grande beating Rey Mysterio. Although, I don't know how many WrestleManias Rey Mysterio has left, so would they have him win this one, depending on how many more he's going to compete at? But I'm going to go with El Grande Americano for this one. So, next up is Jade Cargill versus Naomi. This looks like it could be a very good match. Also, you've had the whole whodunit since Jade got attacked and taken off TV. For a time, I thought it was going to be Bianca that was going to be revealed as the attacker. Sort of that, Triple H, Shawn Michaels. It's your friend, your partner that's actually attacked you. But they went with Naomi. Now, they could still have a swerve at some point that Naomi was working under Bianca's instructions, or Bianca knew about it, and it's like a total, heel turn swerve. But I'm gonna go with Jade Cargill to win this match. I'd be very surprised. I do like Naomi, and I'm hoping that it's a great match, but again, I'd be surprised if they had Jade Cargill lose her first singles match at WrestleMania. So, next up, we've got LA Knight, versus Jacob Fatu. This one's difficult because Jacob is on a big run right now, but at the same time, what do they do with LA Knight if they have him lose the title here? Because it doesn't look at any time that they're going to push LA Knight for a main title run against, for the WWE title. So I don't know if they have him lose. I'm going to have LA Knight win this match. and it's going to be because Solo, you know, gets involved and either disrupts Jacob or gets Jacob disqualified, which would set up maybe a match between Solo and Jacob at Backlash. So I'm gonna go with LA Knight to win this match against Jacob. Hopefully it'll be a good match. You know, Jacob is nuts in the ring, and you know, like the moves he can do. You know, hitting that moonsault off the top rope. Uh, God knows what he's going to do at Mania. So next up we have got Tiffany versus Charlotte. This one has been a bit chaotic and build up wise. Obviously we had the offshoot promo a few weeks ago where you know the crowd in Chicago was booing Charlotte. She couldn't get a word in. She totally lost herself on the mic. Tiffany was basically went off script, was taking jabs about you know her private life and everything, and it was so chaotic. Um, I like Tiffany, but I'm gonna go with Charlotte. Uh, I'm gonna go with Charlotte to win this one. I'd be surprised if they had her make her return, win the Royal Rumble, and then go the whole way to WrestleMania just to lose. As I said, I love Tiffany, and it would be great if she won, but I'm gonna go with Charlotte to win this one. So next is Gunther versus Yeet. Jey Uso. This one, I like the build up of this. This match has been a good build up. Obviously, the whole thing about Jey wanting to prove himself, and ever since he won the Royal Rumble, it's been about sort of, you know, was he going to go for Cody or was he going to challenge Gunther again? This is about him overcoming this obstacle that he has not been able to, you know, beat Gunther, and now it's got to the point where it's gotten very personal. Gunther has attacked Jimmy and beat the bloody hell out of him, and I I'm going to say that Gunther wins. As much as I love Jey Uso and I love the yeet and gets the crowd going mad, and realistically, you know, it would be an amazing moment for Jey to win at WrestleMania and the crowd going nuts. Uh, I don't see, because it feels a bit like last year where Gunther was facing Sami Zayn, and it was about Sami Zayn. You know, could he overcome Gunther and win the Intercontinental title? And they had Sami win. I don't see them doing that 2 years in a row with Gunther losing to the, I don't want to call it Jay underdog, but you know, because he has never gotten the win over Gunther and he's never had that the world title. Uh, So I think my prediction is that Gunther wins, but Jay gives him one hell of a match. You know, to the point where Gunther actually, you know, acknowledges Jay, pardon the pun of, you know, the bloodline, acknowledges Jay as a worthy, you know, competitor, as one of his toughest opponents, you know, because if I don't see where they would go if Jay beat Gunther. I don't know where he would go next in terms of a world title reign, and if Gunther lost, I don't know where he would go next, because there's not really, like, if Gunther wasn't the champion, there's not really a big challenge on Raw for him. Unless they did like a draft after Mania and like he was drafted to Smackdown to battle whoever wins between Cena and Cody. But yeah, I'm going to go with Gunther retains on that one. So, next up, the last main event of night one. So we got the triple threat match: Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Paul Heyman. Sorry, rereading the wrong here. Roman Reigns versus CM Punk with Paul Heyman versus Seth Rollins. This is a tricky one. And rightfully so, it deserves to be the main event of night one because it has been the best build-up and the most anticipated match on the card. There's a lot of theory about, is Paul Heyman going to be a deciding factor in this? Is he going to cost somebody to help another participant win? I'm going to say I don't think CM Punk has to win the match. He's, his dream and target has always been to main event WrestleMania, so he's got that. He's in the main event of night one, so he doesn't have to win that match. Roman, it feels like Roman could be the winner because he lost last year to Cody, so now this year he gets his win back at Mania. And there's been a lot of speculation that something Roman said, Roman said whenever I'm not with Paul Heyman is when you'll never see the tribal chief again. So there's a speculation that maybe he could be done after this year with WrestleMania, which stays Seth. I'm going to go with Seth as the winner just because out of the three of them, I think he deserves it the most. Because, after last year he busted his ass over 2 nights while his body was near broken. We had the tag match with Cody against The Rock and Roman, and then on night 2, even though he could barely stand, he had the match with Seth, or with Drew, and then even in the main event, literally crawled his way to the ring to do the final spot of the match. So I'm going to go with Seth to win this one. Do they have Paul Heyman turn on Roman and Punk and side with Seth? Seth did say that Heyman owes him a favour. So that would be interesting if you had Seth Rollins with Paul Heyman, as his advocate or associate. So I'm going to go with Seth to win this match, whether Heyman gets involved. Doesn't necessarily have to be. It could be a scenario where maybe maybe Punk, everyone's exhausted in the match and Punk hits Rollins with a GTS, but Rollins falls on top of Roman and gets the pin, or Roman spears Punk, but then Seth curb stomps Roman and then has to decide which one does he pin at Mania. So I'm going to go with Rollins either way to win that match. So that's night one. Okay, on to night 2. So we have Liv Morgan and Raquel versus Bayley and Lyra. This match, I I feel this match has the wrong participants in it. I think that they've wasted the the opportunity to defend at least one of the women's new titles on the card. As far as things currently stand, Chelsea isn't defending her United States title on WrestleMania, and Lyra is in this match, so she's not going to be defending her Intercontinental title. I think they've wasted the opportunity to build on the feud between Bayley and Roxanne, and what you could have done was had a scenario of Lyra defending her Intercontinental title against Bayley and Roxanne at WrestleMania. And then with Liv and Raquel, I will sort of cross over into the women's triple threat match. I don't think you needed to have Io Sky involved in that match with Rhea and Bianca. I think what they should have done was had Io and Dakota Kai versus Liv and Raquel for the tag titles. That should have been the match. And then had, Rhea Ripley versus Bianca 1-on-1. So this match, anyway, I'm going to go with Liv and Raquel to win the match. I don't see Bayley and Lyra winning the tag titles at Mania, and I'm assuming that will possibly further build to Bayley wanting to challenge Lyra for the Intercontinental title again, because they did sort of tease it when they had their match on Raw, and then Bayley at first refused to shake Lyra's hand, but then stopped and then hugged her, because obviously they had their tag team gauntlet on Smackdown. So AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. This is one of the matches I think has had very shit build up. Like literally AJ Styles faced Karrion Kross on Raw. Those two have had a bigger build up in terms of a match compared to AJ Styles and Logan Paul. This one has just been one segment at Madison Square Garden, and then it's just been Karrion Kross building up AJ for right, you need to do this, you can't let Logan Paul beat you. So the build up could have been better. I'm gonna go with Logan Paul beating AJ because again Logan doesn't at the moment doesn't compete that much, so I'm assuming they're going to have him win at WrestleMania, because why have the match just to have Logan lose? So next we have the Fatal 4-Way. This match I'm looking forward to a lot, because Braun Breaker is a fucking beast. Every time I watch him compete, I am amazed at how he competes. Like either the speed he hits off the rope, or I know there's the commentary has a modified name for it, but there's the Frankenstein where he hits off that. Every time he hits that off the top rope, the speed in which he executes, he is one of the best in-ring competitors I've seen for a long while in WWE. Penta, I've really enjoyed his performances in the ring since he moved to WWE from AEW. And then you have the sort of the bickering in the Judgment Day between Finn Balor and Dominic. I would love to back. I would love to go with the fellow Irishman Finn Balor and have him win, because I feel like they've dropped the ball with Finn a lot. You know, ever since he came up from NXT, and at the time he won the Universal title against Seth, but then had that injury and had to vacate the title. Ever since then, it just feels like they've let him drift, you know, and they've tried to find ways to use him. You know, they've had him just use him sparingly again. Different matches. They had that match where I think he challenged Brock Lesnar but didn't win, and then I think he challenged Roman Reigns as the Demon but didn't win, and then they had him just as part of the Judgment Day, but now he's like the sort of makeshift leader in a way, even though they're not thing. But it does feel like it's going to be the Judgment Day angle is going to come to blows between him and Dominic, whether they are bickering over who gets the win at WrestleMania. I think Dominic's going to win. I am predicting Dominic's going to win. I don't know how this is going to work, but I think Dominic wins the title at WrestleMania. Whether he pins Finn, and that freaking definitely escalates tensions in the Judgment Day, are similar to the triple threat match in that night one, where somebody gets taken out and Dominic just scurries over and steals the win. I think Dominic gets this, so I'm going with him. But I'm really looking forward to that match, because God knows what Braun is going to do in that match. The spear he hit in Carlito a few weeks ago, that was incredible. Next we have Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre in the Sin City Street Fight. That's been a decent build. Obviously, you have the whole scenario from last year where Drew beat Seth for the world title, and then because of the altercation with Punk, Damian cashed in and won the title, beat Drew, and then they've had their occurrences in the Royal Rumble and the Elimination Chamber. I gotta go with Drew for this one. I just think, because he's had so many situations where he's either got screwed in a match or he's come up short. I think he needs to have his moment at WrestleMania, so I think he needs to win this one. So I'm going to go with Drew. And then we have the women's triple threat. Again, as I said before, I don't think Io Sky needed to be in this match. I do love Io Sky, and I think she's a great competitor in the ring, but I don't think she's winning this match, so I don't think they needed to have the scenario of her beating Rhea and being inserted in this match. I think it should have just been Rhea versus Bianca 1-on-1. I'm going to go with I'm gonna go with Bianca. I was about to say maybe Rhea, because she's never beaten Io, or has never, it's one, she's never beaten Io, or she's never beaten Bianca. But I think Bianca is at the moment undefeated at WrestleMania, so I'm gonna go with Bianca to win this match. uh, which could set up a match between her and Rhea Ripley one-on-one at Backlash. So the last match, the official main event of WrestleMania, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. This has been a good build over the European tour with Cody and Cena hitting the promos. I think they're meant to have a final one on Smackdown or whatever it is, so we'll see what happens there. I don't know what way this is going to go. It's strange how it started off with The Rock, but he has had no involvement since. Now, I don't know if there was meant to be more involvement from him, but maybe sort of some backstage politics have taken place and they've said, look, we're going to go this direction instead, similar to last year. You know, we're going to go this direction instead, just have Cena and Cody instead of this whole, you know, aligning with The Rock or, you know, the Rock getting revenge on Cody by using Cena as his thing. Just have Cena, you know, as this individual on his own personal vendetta. So this is tough to call. Last year, because it was the second match between Cody and Roman, it felt more clear that all right, Cody's going to finish the story, he's going to win. This year, because it's Cena's final run in the WWE before his retirement, apparently, because he's looking to break the record for Ric Flair's record of 16 world titles, although Ric Flair would like to dispute that about what counts as a world title, because otherwise Ric's in like is it the 20s or the 30s reign, but I don't know. I don't know if at this point fans are looking for a bit of change. Obviously last year they were fully behind Cody because he was pursuing the title. He was, you know, the challenger. Now that we've had him as the champion for a year, I don't know if fans are sort of looking for a bit of change instead of having Cody continue his reign plus over a year. This is a tough one. It feels like it is being set up for Cody to win because of the scenario. You know, John Cena is come in as this bitter you know, wrestler who not so much has turned heel, but he's just, you know, he's had enough of the fans, he's had enough of the industry, and you know he's done being, you know, the good guy, the happy soldier, you know, the face of the company who will, you know, shake hands like Cody is now, shake hands and smile at the audience, and you know will never you know, never let his, you know, his anger overcome. Now he's just like, you know what, fuck you, to hell with this company, to hell with the WWE fans. I'm gonna, as he said, I'm going to destroy wrestling. I'm going to win this title. I'm going to take this title. I'm going to be the last champion, and you can have your, fake champion, knowing that I have the real title. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to have another scenario of John Cena sat on the WrestleMania ramp with his head in his hands, and just after, like when he lost to The Rock. Does The Rock get involved in this? Is what I'm thinking. Is he going to have some involvement? Because so far he's had no mention since Elimination Chamber, and it feels like he should have, because Cody certainly needs to, at some point get some payback on The Rock, and to a further extent, Travis Scott for literally beating the hell out of him. You know, I don't know if this wasn't, if it didn't involve Cena breaking Ric Flair's record, then I would say, all right, they're going to have Cena win the title for his final run, and then he'll lose it at some point, maybe SummerSlam or Survivor Series. The fact that if Cena wins, you know, he break, he breaks Ric Flair's record as a 16-time world champion. I'm going to go with Cody. As much as I would like to see Cena win, just to see the scenario of how, things turn out afterwards. What does Cody do? Does Cena take the title and leave? Where does that leave Cody? Does Cody, have to find a way to get Cena back for a return match at some point or something? Or do they have a new title produced because Cena has taken the current one? But I'm going to go with Cody. I think Cody wins, and I don't know what that does for Cena. And, unless Cena, walks away and then returns at some point, either still as the bad guy, or maybe does he walk away and then sort of, finds his love for, the company and the fans again, and then wants to go out on his final run, as the good guy Cena before he retires. But anyway, that's what I'm gonna go. So let me run down before my voice goes. Right, so night 1 and 2. So I'm gonna go with the New Day. I'm gonna go with El Grande Americano. Gracias. I'm gonna go with Jade Cargill. I'm gonna go with LA Knight. I'm gonna go with Charlotte. I'm going with Gunther. And I'm going with Seth Rollins. So that's night 1. Night 2, I'm going with Liv and Raquel to retain. I'm going with Logan Paul. I'm going with Dominic Mysterio. I'm going with Drew. I'm going with Bianca Belair. And then the main event, I'm going with Cody Rhodes to retain. So that is my preview and predictions for WrestleMania 41. I hope it'll be a great event, and honestly, I do hope that some of my predictions are wrong. I hope that there are still some surprises left, whatever they may be. And anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. What are your predictions for WrestleMania? Who do you think is leaving with the titles? Do you think Jay is finally going to overcome Gunther? Do you think Cena is going to break Ric Flair's record? What happens with Roman, Seth, and Punk? What angle does Paul Heyman play in that? Let me know your thoughts. Anyway, drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. It'll be very much appreciated. And I shall see you again. Enjoy WrestleMania. Yeet.